tell me what to say.
Hello and welcome to another exciting new episode of Serious Nibbage with Sbrebrown and Gourmet Pens. That's right.
Sorry, someone left me a mean comment, so I'm just reading kind people's responses to my sadness.
Gourmet Pens, Gourmet Pens, Gourmet Pens, Gourmet Pens. That was completely out of tune. So let's move on. Today we'll have, this is a prop of the week. Today we'll have a look at the Pilot F pen. V pen. Whatever. No, I'm just kidding. The Pilot V pen, I think it's also known as Varsity.
It is also a Varsity.
I've never really seen any difference between the two, but...
they have different barrel designs. One is like the American version, one is the Japanese version. I can't remember which is which.
Well, the V, probably Varsity is probably American.
Anyway.
Like cheerleaders.
Something like that.
Why don't you never wear a cheerleader outfit? You should wear a cheerleader outfit in this video.
Look, my patience today is like 0. So you don't want to get smacked. Anyway.
Maybe I like to get smacked.
Oh my god.
What are your first impressions of the pen? Come on. We're wasting time
the
here.
V pen you could buy in just those like cardboard stands in a store. You can buy them online. They don't really have any packaging. That's great. I love that. Oddly enough, I really like the appearance of the V pen. Just launched it into myself.
That's what she said.
Very simple. The ends have accents that match the ink. In this case, it is light green. There is a bit of an ink window here so you can see how much ink you have. The section is clear, so all in all, pretty exciting. It's all plastic. The plastic itself, like the gray, is kind of pearlescent. Not bad for like $4.
No.
How about you?
Well, I had used a Varsity before, and I was quite surprised by it. Yes, it's all plastic. These are supposed to be disposable fountain pens, so you write them up and then they're done when the ink is done. But I was surprised by the nib. We'll come back to that in a second.
Okay.
In all...
Yeah, go ahead, sorry. Nothing. I forgot.
In all, I think this is... Does it feel cheap? Yes. It's all plastic, it's light, there is nothing really beautiful on it. Tolerances are alright, but there are some sharp corners. I mean, this is a cheaper pen, but it's a $4 pen. I think that's interesting, but what makes it special?
Well, it is a disposable, unless you learn how to refill it. Hit the ground running, pretty easy to find type of fountain pen.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say hit the ground running, I mean it's already inked. You could just buy it and use it. So I think that's pretty much it.
Yep.
It's affordable. So it has, there's quite a few things that make it special, I would say. What were your...
And it doesn't really dry out, I have the feeling. It doesn't... I haven't really had any issues with that.
Yeah, but that's...
Anyway.
Oh God. Stick to the points! Writing experience. You want to go first?
I'll go first. I'll tell you something fascinating about this. This nib is remarkably smooth, and it's not a coincidence because I used a Varsity quite a while ago. I've reviewed it. I said the same thing there. These nibs are remarkable. They look like the nibs that you get in the Pilot Petit 1, except this is smoother in my recollection.
Well, this is a medium.
Yes, it's great.
So maybe that the difference in from the fine to the medium is what is the difference.
Interestingly enough, the tipping seems to be pointing slightly upwards, which is very fascinating. But the nib, I have to admit it, it's very, very smooth. And I found that to be remarkable. I'm just going to use that term because that's how it came across. So I was very pleased, and as I said, it doesn't really run dry. Even though it's, I mean, it has ink in the barrel, well, not necessarily clearly, but I mean, there's no converters, no cartridges, just basically an eyedropper type pen, ink in the barrel, and the feed doesn't dry out. I've not had that issue, which I find very, very impressive. So, in all, in my writing experience, I was impressed.
Alright, well, I have to agree. The nib is really smooth, which is kind of odd. I mean, for $4, you kind of think, okay, it might be a bit scratchy or something. Maybe not. Well, maybe it won't flow well. Flow is superb. It never dries out when I'm using it.
Did it dry out overnight, for example?
Never.
Because that's what I was talking about.
It's never dried out. It's so, I mean, I always cap it.
Yeah.
And when you cap it, it is a tight cap.
Yeah,
so
it's very tight.
There's probably a good system in there going on. There is, you can see an inner slip cap going on there. Slip cap? Inner slip?
Inner cap.
Whatever.
Slipping on.
But you can hear it. It is snug.
Yeah.
There is a raised bit on the section that accommodates the cap, so I think the seal is pretty good. But it really is fantastic. And oddly enough, I mean, the pen is not crazily comfortable. The section is just hard plastic. It has a sharp ridge at the end, but it is a good size section. There's no threads, so you can...
It's not horribly uncomfortable or anything.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Just...
I mean, it's not like, oh man, that section is good or something. But it's really comfortable. So it's
impressive.
It's just really good. And also the ink that's in here smells amazing. Oh yeah, I mean it's not scented, but I really like the smell of the ink.
Did you suck some ink out?
No.
That's possible.
I mean the ink is part of the pen, I think, because it's already loaded, right?
Yep.
So the light green is a really nice color. It's very legible. I do find that the inks in these pens do bleed a little on less fountain pen friendly paper, so where another ink might be okay, this will be more prone to feathering and bleeding. But I mean, if you need a fountain pen to go, this is really still a good choice. Yeah. So and also it's a very full barrel. So the writing experience was very positive. It caps really nicely, posts really nicely, nice and secure. It's just really very impressive.
So that's what you love about it?
Yeah, I really like it. The only thing I will say is that the clip is also plastic, and I think if you do pull it too far, it's just going to snap off. But if you're planning to throw it out, it's not a huge deal. I do like the design of the V pen. I think I prefer it to the Varsity because I do like the gray and accented look. I think the Varsity is more dark. I like the ink window. I like the clear section. It's just fun to look at. It's just really well done.
I agree. For a pen at this price point, $4, you could do a lot worse. It's a very smooth nib. It's not a disgusting looking pen. It doesn't have an off-putting smell or anything. It
just
very,
writes.
very decent, and it writes well every time, all the time. I really find that impressive. Now, what I hate about it, I'm going to maybe push this a little, but the whole thing of a fountain pen for me is that you can refill it, and you use all kinds of different inks. And the problem with this pen is that it's a disposable pen. Now, that also means that you get one ink and then you're stuck with it, and if you don't like it, that's too bad, because you're
although
not really
it does
supposed
come
to
in like
refill it.
5 other colors.
Yeah, so you can pick. There's also I reviewed a blue one, which was actually a pretty nice blue. In any case, you can refill these. There are videos online where people will pretty much just use pliers to pull out the nib and feed unit and then just pour ink in and press the section, the feed nib back in place. So it is possible, but then again, I also think, is that really worth it? Would you not rather buy another pen? But if you're starting out, you're not sure where the fountain pens are for you, I think this is a very interesting pen to check out because it writes so well, because the nib is so smooth. It is not a cheap pen that has a horribly scratchy nib. So that's what I love about it. Now, would you buy it again?
I would. I think it'll be nice to always have one of these on hand. I am going to refill it, but I also think it's a good gift pen for someone who might be interested in fountain pens. It's also a cute concept that if you do want to refill it, you could, well, I mean, you could just realistically just dump the ink. But, I mean, if you want to give it to someone and you know what their favorite ink is, you could just refill it and give it to them as a gift with that ink already. So, it's just a fun pen. It's affordable, it's cute. I would buy it again. I do like the nib. I do use it pretty often, and I often use it as a tester pen for paper.
Yep. I would buy it too. I mean, this does not rank amongst my absolute all-time use everyday pens. But considering how well made it is, how good the nib is, for $4, it's hard to go wrong.
Well, I think it's the kind of pen that like you just want to have one on hand.
Yeah.
You know, at all times maybe.
Also, I really like this. I like this not drying out aspect because
yeah, it doesn't hard start.
You can even put it in a coat pocket and it will work all the time without drying out, etc. So that's really cool.
That is pretty cool, yeah.
Now the big question is it or is it not Tidry's Nibbage? The snibometer. Let's start out neutrally. What do you say?
I'm gonna put it actually pretty high. I think Pilot does some pretty awesome stuff with their nibs. It is a plastic pen. It's probably not going to appeal to everyone. To me, I really like it. I like the design. I like the comfort. I think it's affordable. It's pretty decent.
I put the Nibbage indicator on the same spot. And yes, it is. I'm just going to say cheaper pen. I'm not even going to use the word inexpensive. It is a cheaper pen. It's $4, but for that amount you get a decent amount of ink. You get a nib that writes really well. You get a pen that doesn't dry out. You can refill it if you want to. And for me, this nib outdoes the preppy nib, for example.
But also, if you lose it, you're not going to be heartbroken.
No, that's a really, really neat concept, I think. Now, what else could we pick if we would want a pen like this, but not this pen?
Well, in this price range, you're looking at something like the Preppy, the Platinum Preppy. You could also look at a Pilot Petit One, which has the same nib style, but it comes in fine. Yeah. So and it's also mini.
Very small. Yeah.
You could also get a Varsity, which is the same thing.
I think that you're getting maybe that new jet pen Chibi.
The Chibi, yeah, which is $1 cheaper actually, and fits a converter. So.
But to be honest, everything we have mentioned now, for me, this nib outweighs all of them. I find this nib more pleasant than the Preppy nib, more pleasant than the Petit One nib, and more pleasant than the Chibi nib.
You could also get the Snow White, cute. You reviewed one.
Yeah, one of those. Wasn't it a Chinese one?
Yeah, it's a Chinese pen, similar to the Petit One. Anyway, there's another option.
Yeah.
All in the similar price range.
Yeah.
But that one I think you'd have to buy online. But anyway. Yeah, it's
cute knockabout
cool.
pens.
Yep. Good gifts. Good to experiment with if you're just still learning, getting the hang of fountain pens. So yeah, decent pen.
We hope this was useful. I would glad to see you later.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Okay.
Hello and welcome to another exciting new episode of Drop the Pen of Sidious's Nibbage with S.B.RE. Brown. The doorbell rang.